have never said to anybody I actually fancied, send me a picture of your
Guys would take pictures of their genitalia and then put it up as an Instagram story and tag lots of women. Like, it's like a power thing.
It's part of what they do whilst doing other criminal offences. You can't just downplay it and say, oh, it's only a minor offence. It is not.
I'm Amy Hart. I'm a presenter, influencer and advocate for women's safety.
I'm Inspector Liz Warner and I'm a police officer from West Mercia Police.
I'm Jess Phillips and I'm the Minister for Safeguarding and Violence Against Women and Girls.
What is exposure, or exposure is the terms known legally? It's essentially when someone exposes their genitalia deliberately with the intent to cause upset and fear. The offence could be committed by men and women. The offence can be committed in public or private. Offence is based around the intent of the perpetrator as opposed to the way that that other person has received that activity. What is cyberflashing is where somebody shows, sends or gives another person a video or an image of genitalia, of anyone's genitalia, and that needs to be done with the intent that they cause humiliation and alarm and distress, or with the intent of receiving some form of sexual gratification.
So if you send somebody else's genitals, that still absolutely counts as well?
Absolutely. If you're sending any picture or any video of anyone's genitalia, and we're talking an adult here because there's specific offences for children and young people here, then yes, that's an offence if you do it with the intent of upsetting someone or receiving some form of sexual gratification. So we've all heard of situations where you're on a dating app or a dating website and somebody might send a picture of a penis. If that's done with that intent, then that is a criminal offence, and not many people know that. Maybe you're on a train and somebody Bluetooths to you a video or a photo of some genitalia, airdropping it in, or perhaps they just leave a phone line around with a video playing or a picture showing, again with that intent that someone else sees it, then yeah, that's a criminal offence. We now know that people commit offences of indecent exposure as a pattern of other serious sexual offending. So it's not like a graph, it's not they start off with indecent exposure. It's part of what they do whilst doing other criminal offences. So it is massively important. You can't just downplay it and say, oh, it's only a minor offence. It is not, and it's probably a pattern of offending that they're doing at the same time. So it's really important that people report it. And yes, it might be that we can't identify who that person is because it's in an alleyway where there's no CCTV, but it doesn't mean that we can't build up that pattern of intelligence. It doesn't mean that we can't go back to that alleyway a week later at the same day and time to go and see if they're still there. They're going to perhaps act in a pattern of behaviours as well. They're in a vehicle, so it's not just a man in an alleyway.
I think we'd struggle to find people who didn't have some sort of story to tell in this regard. As well, we have to make sure that the police are equipped to, when these things are reported, that proper actions and proper processes are followed. It's one of the reasons why the Home Office has been working with police, training in how you deal with indecent exposure to make sure that it becomes a pattern of other cases as well as a case in and of itself.
I mean, I found that one thing that happened to me and my friends was obviously people can send pics, and because it goes into your message request, they'll never know if you've opened them or not. So you have to deal with it and see it, but they'll never know whether you've opened it. So one thing that started happening was guys would take pictures of their genitalia and then put it up as an Instagram story and tag lots of women in the public eye. And then obviously we'd be going just through our story mentions, like, oh, someone's reshared my pictures, oh, and that's there. But then they have a list because it shows you who's viewed the story. So it's like a power thing. It's like I've forced you to do that. So if I opened my phone today and I'd received a pic, how would I report it?
So you report a crime of cyberflashing or as indecent exposure like you'd report any other crime. So if something's happening then and there, so let's go back to an indecent exposure, call 999 because it's important. It's a crime in progress and you have to call 999 and we will come out. If it's an offence of indecent exposure that's kind of happened a little while ago, or you've received cyberflashing, a pic as you call it, then you can either call 101, so that's our non-emergency number, or you can go online to police.uk and you can report it online. So there's various ways that you can report it as you would any other offence type. And in terms of the investigation, again, it depends case by case. Nowadays, you've got so much opportunities to gather evidence. So if it's out on the street in a public place, you could have Ring doorbell, you've got ANPR, which is a way of capturing the movements of a vehicle using their registration plate. You might have witnesses, you know, there's lots of opportunities. We can do lots of intelligence gathering. So we'd perhaps speak to the sex offenders unit and say, we've got this person committing this offence, you know, who do you think it might sound like? Who do we need to go and kind of intercept and interrupt and so on. If it's an online offence, of course, there's lots of online opportunities to gather evidence. And we have specialists that work within police forces, that work with digital media, who are far more cleverer than me with online, and they can absolutely do some research. And even if we are unable to identify who the perpetrator is or even bring them to justice, it's just part of that wider intelligence gathering. We've got to know what's happening. We've got to identify it's a problem nationally, but also where the problems exist, so we can do more preventative and kind of proactive police.
And because it is a crime in real life, IRL. Look at me. I know the lingo. Because it is a crime in real life, it is also covered by, you know, the Online Safety Act as well. So actually, if their, you know, sites are allowing this to happen, that absolutely it is illegal content that is not allowed to happen on sites. And so there are a number of ways that this can be challenged. And what I would say to the public as well, in a time when it feels like there is just endless stories about crimes that do and don't get charged, is that idiot criminals don't realise that the internet leaves an evidence trail. I mean, the evidence gathering online is in some ways easier than IRL in real life. There is footprints that are literally digital footprints that are left. If you were getting something like this every single day from a variety of different people, I mean, there is no perfect system where every one of those will, but like it really feeling like it doesn't overwhelm you, that you can report every single one.
Yeah, every single one.
Yeah.
You're not, you know, you're not being a nuisance by coming and telling us about every single picture you receive. Do it.
I would say as well, like, be proud that you have reported it, and tell your friends if it happens to them as well. That will empower them to report it as well. Don't sort of shy away from that, oh, it's a bit embarrassing that I've gone to the police about this. Like, it's not at all. It's what you should be doing. And if you can empower others.
We won't judge you. No. And actually, you've got to remember, it's probably happened to the police officer you're speaking to.
Almost certainly.
You know, statistically, so don't be embarrassed about it. Don't feel humiliated. Come and speak to us about it, and we won't judge you. We're trained now, and we're empathetic, and probably have the same lived experiences.